What's up, homies? Welcome to another episode of the Homies Real Estate Podcast. This is your host, Anthony.
I'm Angel.
I'm a realtor.
I'm a lender.
And together we're going to break down this crazy real estate market. It's the beginning of the month, Angel. What time is it?
Market updates.
Yep. Time to go over the market update for Orange County. This is the craziest county when it comes to real estate ever. I mean, we saw a astronomical increase in the first half of the year for median sales price, even though interest rates were already super high or a lot higher than they typically are. So are we finally starting to see an inflection point? Are we starting to see the market cool off and balance into a buyer's market or a balanced market? What? So let's take a look at the market data first. I'll go over it rocket rounds. Me and Angel will dissect it and then give our projections for the future. So with that said, homies, let's go ahead and get started. So Orange County median sales price decreased from May 2022 at $1,050,000 to June 2022 to $1 million. That's a decrease of $1 million. Nonetheless, that's still up 10.5% year over year. Last June, we were looking at $904,000 for a median sales price. Now, when we look at median price per square foot, another really good indication of whether prices are finally starting to cool off. In May 2022, we're looking at $631. And in June 2022, $615. That's a $16 decrease. Year over year, that's still a 19.4% increase, or an increase of about $100. Now, when we look at how many homes are available to be sold in Orange County, it increased quite a bit from about 3,800 homes in May 2022 to now 4,750 homes in June 2022. That's 20.3% higher than we had last June, which is good news for buyers. That means that we're starting to get a lot more active listings. When we look at inventory month supply, if there was no more homes listed in Orange County, currently it would take 2 months for the current homes on the market to be sold. In a balanced market, it takes about 5 to 6 months. In a buyer's market, 6+ months. This increased a lot. 1.5 months in May 2022 to now 2 months in June 2022. This is the highest that we've seen since 2020. And then when we look at median days on market, how fast are homes being sold? Right now, it increased from May 2022 at 7 to now June 2022 at 8 days on market. That's still extremely fast. You still need to be prepared and making really strong offers. And then when we look at closed sales did decrease from May 2022 at 2,524 to June 2022 at 2,365. It's down 33.3% year over year, which is a pretty sharp decrease. Typically in June, we're looking at somewhere in the ballpark of 2,800 to 3,200. So we're off par by about 300 to 500 sales. So it does look like the market is starting to cool off a little bit. Angel, what catches your attention about this?
Can we go back to sales price?
Yes.
So it dropped. How much did it drop? Quite a big drop, huh?
50,000 decrease.
50,000. I just feel like it's so weird with Orange County is really weird with I feel like it's never like little increments. It's always like dramatic. Like it's gonna go up, it's gonna dramatically go up. And now it seems like finally, for the first time in a long time, home prices dropping. $50,000 drop. It just goes back to where the market is right now with the rates. Definitely playing a role in Orange County sales price, median sales price dropping. I think with that being said, though, market still seems very competitive. Only 2 months of inventory. Days on markets, we're not even close. We're 2 days away from 10 days on the market. To be at 8 days on the market, 1 day over a week is extremely competitive. Yeah, it's just very interesting. I think next month's gonna be a really good indicator to see if it holds up, right? If we continue to see these decreases, more days on market, more month supplies, but nevertheless, it still seems like you're gonna be in a slugfest to get a home accepted in Orange County. Just not as crazy as it was before.
Yeah. Orange County has always been a market that when things are going good, they're going really good for buyers or sellers. And
Mhm.
when things are going bad, it just really flips the script. Like it's really volatile market. It's crazy to think that from these basically in January 2022, right? Beginning of this year, median sales price was at
Yeah.
950,000. And then in 4 short months, in April 2022, it went up to 1,060,000. So it's a $110,000 increase in
Mhm.
just 4 months, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it seems like
Drop.
the appreciation rate, right? The median sales price, finally caught up with
Mhm.
themselves, and now it decreased
Drop.
from 1,060,000 to now $1 million.
Yep.
I think this is a much more uh a much more comfortable like appreciation rate
Mhm.
for for Orange County.
Yep.
I think that it increased so fast the first half of the year that it just couldn't continue to stay at that rate. Like I think it had to eventually, drop back down and hit, something that's a lot more predictable. And
And
then
and I don't mean to cut you off. I think one thing too that the reason why it might be so volatile as far as the drops is just maybe because of such larger price points, right? So
Mhm.
50,000 in Orange County when you're selling, there's homes there selling for 7, 8,
Mhm.
10, $12 million. 50,000 isn't that much of a drop, right?
Yes.
So that's maybe something to consider that it is a higher priced county for sure. So maybe that's why the drops are so much more volatile, or
Mhm.
vice versa, where they increase at such a much more rapid pace, is because there's the average meet or the sale prices there just tend to be higher than LA County.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So percentage wise, even though the decrease is higher, the percentage wise it's not as high just because the sales price is higher. Yes, that makes complete sense. um I think another thing that's really caught my attention is just the active listings and the inventory month supply. So the same way that median sales price decreased
Yeah,
significantly, like to see active listings, hit the
big
highest
jump.
it's to see it hit the highest it's ever been, when in January and December of this year it was the lowest it's ever been, but now this is the highest it's been since basically November 2020, right? It's pretty crazy to
Hmm.
see. And then to see inventory month supply also jump from 1.5 months when it was just at zero point 0.8 months, zero point 0.7 months in January
Insane.
2022 to now 2 months in June 2022, which is the highest that we've again seen since November or October 2020. It's crazy to think.
It's exciting for you buyers. Very,
Yes,
very exciting.
yes, because it was insane for people looking for a home in Orange County. I mean, you were competing with well over 10 offers. Homes were selling well over $100,000 over asking price. It was just gnarly.
Yeah.
And now it looks like the market is cooling off quickly.
Yep.
Again, I'm not saying that we're going into a balanced market, and I'm not
Hmm.
saying that we're going into a buyer's market. I'm just saying it's not as hectic as it once was, where you were
Hmm.
competing with so many offers. Like now, you're going
Yeah.
to be competing with maybe 5 offers,
Mhm.
right? And it's just a much more pleasurable experience if you're a buyer. And I will say that you still want to make sure you're writing strong offers. You
Yep.
still want to make sure you're pre-approved and got all your ducks lined up, because we're not in a balanced market by any stretch of the imagination.
Nope.
Again, we're at 2 months of inventory month supply, and it takes about 5 to 6 months to see a balanced market. And from 2017 to 2020, the highest that we've ever seen inventory month supply was June 2019, which was 3.9 months. So even
Yeah.
at that point, we were still considered a seller's market. So
Yeah.
again, it's going to take us a long time to bounce out of this, just because we
Hmm.
have so much buyer demand. So many people want to live in Orange County. We don't have enough construction bills. We don't have enough people wanting to sell or move out of the state. So it's going to take
Hmm.
a long time for us to dig ourselves out of that hole. But just know that it is a lot easier than it once was.
Yeah. No, I think Anthony hit pretty much everything. For you buyers, just this is your opportunity right now, right?
Mhm.
Rates going up, it could be a little scary, but if you can afford the payment, um, try to get in there, try to get into your house. Like I said in the LA County podcast, and I've said in podcasts before, I really think rates are going to come back down towards the end of the year. I'm just a strong believer in that, or beginning of next year. that point, look at refinancing your property, right?
Mhm.
Just getting your home, start building the equity. And then from there, there's always going to be opportunity to probably lower that payment in the future, when rates drop. But yeah, I think it's a great time for both buyers and sellers,
Mhm.
and very interesting to see where it goes. We're in a recession officially, so that's definitely over the next few months gonna have some effect, or will have an effect on on the real estate market, right? But don't think 2008, 2009 recession.
Mhm.
Historically speaking, homes actually appreciate during a recession, again, because the feds are going to bring down those rates once the economy needs to be stimulated.
Yes, absolutely, Angel. Thank you for saying that.
Mhm.
I think another thing that I really want to drill home right here is that as there starts to become more homes hitting the market, and as the inventory month supply starts to creep up, buyer standards are also going to start increasing because now they have more options available to them, which means that now sellers are going to be more willing to have more favorable buyers are now going to be having more favorable contingency periods.
Mhm.
Sellers are going to be more willing to credit for repairs. Sellers are going to be more willing to offer closing cost credit, which were things that were unheard of for the
Beautiful.
last year and a half. So just know that this is the best time that it's been for a buyer in the last year and a half,
Mhm.
and it's likely going to get a little bit better as time progresses. But the last thing I would like you to do is miss out on this opportunity. So if you have the means to make the payment, just look at everything on a long-term basis. Know that, hey, I'm going to plan to stay here for the next 5 to 10 years. And there's this window of opportunity where the experience is a lot more pleasurable. I'm
Mhm.
going to get a relatively good deal. And over 10 years, my home is likely going to be worth, 50%, maybe even 100% more.
Mhm.
So just know that, just always have that type of perspective moving forward. So, Angel, let's try to make a projection real quick. I mean, we both were caught off guard. No one would have projected the median sales price in Orange County to drop from 1,050,000 to now $1 million, a $50,000
Yeah.
decrease. What are you projecting next month?
Um, I think Orange County is always a crazy market, so I actually think we're gonna see an increase next month.
Increase.
Yeah, I think, but nothing
Increase.
nothing crazy. Maybe $5,000 to $10,000. Yeah, it just seems like too much of a drop for it to drop even more. That's just my projection on it. If we're looking from like the interest rate standpoint, it wouldn't make sense for it to go up right now because rates did increase quite a bit in the month of June, which is going to transfer over into the closings of the month of July, right? For the
Mhm.
July market update. But I do think it will go up a little bit. Again, $5,000 to $10,000. I don't see it going under $1 million.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I think median, I think median sales price is gonna decrease. I'm just looking at inventory month supply increasing so much, active listings increasing so much, and I mean, if everything's pointing in one direction, I think sales price has to follow suit and also just continue to decrease. I don't think it's gonna be that much of a decrease. It already decreased $60,000 in the last 2 months. It'll likely decrease like an additional $15,000 more or less. But yeah, I don't. This is when we were on opposite sides of the ballpark. We're all just making projections based off of speculation, based off of the data that we're looking at,
Jacob, make sure to play this back in July. See
based
who's
off of our
right.
own experiences and what we're seeing out there. So again, we don't know. This is just what we've seen based off this historical data. But yeah, I'm thinking about a $10,000 to $15,000 decrease. Angel's thinking about a $5,000 to $10,000 increase.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have to run that back next month and see who's right, who's wrong, and maybe the loser has to buy someone else some in and out.
I love In and Out. I'll take it for free. Let's go.
Protein style though, because I can't eat bread
Okay.
right now. I'm doing
There we
a
go.
diet. But yeah, that's where we're at. Angel, I think that kind of wraps it up here. I don't really have anything more to say about the Orange County market.
Oh, yeah.
Um, it's crazy to see this flip though. So I'm happy for you buyers, you sellers. It's still a good time to sell, of course. It always is. And Angel, where can we find you at?
At Your Mortgage Angel on Instagram.
At your mortgage, at your mortgage angel on Instagram. You know where to find us at the Luevanos Group. If you're watching this podcast or if you're listening to this podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, highly recommend watching this on YouTube. That way you can follow suit with the charts. It makes it so much easier to dissect. With that said, homies, I want to wish you all the best. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you. Hey homies, it's Angel from the Homies Real Estate Podcast. This podcast contains our opinions and is for educational purposes only. It does not guarantee any projections and should not serve as the basis for any purchase or sale in real estate.